Aloha! Welcome back to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Gina Ryan, and I'm so happy to be with you again today as we consider the many ways to bring your mind and body back to its natural peace and calm. I'm so glad you're here with me today because in this episode, I want you to join me in thinking about going beyond survival mode and actually reclaiming your innate calm. We've all got it. We just forgot how to access it. If you've been feeling like life has you running on fumes, like you're constantly on edge or bracing for the next thing to go wrong, you're not alone. I am very busy over here with a lot of changes going on in my life, and it feels like the clock is running on double speed. And I know it's not, but there is so much going on. And what happens when we are living like that for too long and we forget where our inner calm is, we begin to start living in what I call the survival mode. The good news is that you don't have to live in that survival mode. There's another way to go through life. And I had to learn this a long time ago. And now, even no matter how busy and crazy things get, and believe me, I complain about it. There is no angel halo over my head. But I also remember that I don't have to live in survival mode. I can take a breath. I can slow things down. What I need is inside me. So today, we're going to talk about how you can move beyond the default of fight or flight state and start reclaiming your natural innate calm. We don't have to be living waiting for the other shoe to drop. We have a really fast pace, but are we really trapped? That's a good question to ask yourself. Am I really trapped? We live in a world where the constant hum of stress feels pretty much normal now. It's been going on for a long time, and it keeps getting faster. I remember being busy back in the day. This is one of the beautiful things about getting older. Like, it's actually quite awesome because I can look back at being an adult when life was completely different than it is now. And I still had stress. That's when I was anxious. I'm not saying that the busy pace that we are in right now is the only reason that people get stressed out and have chronic stress and anxiety. No, there's 1,000 different doorways into that. But what we're dealing with right now feels a lot busier than how my life was back in the day. Now, it may be selective memory, but I know that there was time. And when I was a kid, talk about time, we really had things that we called the dog days of summer. They were long. Summer stretched out for like eons before it was time to go back to school and be social again. But now things seem to be going at more of a clip. Even when we have time off, we fill it, right? We have places to go, people to see, even the kids do, activities, right? And sports. There's so much to attend to these days because the world seems to be our oyster. So much is available to us now. But that coin has two sides. Because if you think about it, emails pinging late at night can really be stressful. The news cycle that never stops. Back in my day, the news cycle was from, I think it was 6 to 6:30. Maybe it was 5 to 5:30, but it was a half hour of local news and then a half hour of national news. And that was it until the next day, unless you put the radio on. And then you would get a few minutes at the top of the hour when they had the news, but not all day, all the time. What's happening to us now is that we are always on. Our nervous system is constantly scanning the horizon, looking for the next problem, waiting for that shoe to drop. Our nervous system interprets this steady stream of threats, even when we are not truly in danger. It is interpreting all of these small things and the big things. The constant news, I think, is a big thing. But even your phone giving you messages that you have an email or you have an alert for one of your other apps. Our body is on alert, looking for those, waiting for them. And it can actually begin to think that it has to be looking for those because it is looking for threats. And when it hears the ping of an email, sometimes it doesn't know, is this a problem or is this a friendly email? We are built to be looking for the negative, so it can put us on edge. Maybe you find yourself snapping at your partner over something small or feeling tense just scrolling on your phone. You can feel your muscles tensing up. These are signs of being stuck in a survival mode, not just big panic attacks or obvious crisis. It can be these small things that are out of character for us. We often hold the belief that staying hypervigilant, always being on, ready for the fight, makes us more successful or more prepared. But in reality, that constant state drains our energy, it shortens our patience, and it leaves us exhausted. What can we do? Well, we have what we need. We have an inner sanctuary. You may have forgotten how to get there, but it's in there. So I want to talk to you today about unearthing your inner sanctuary. I hope that you see the hope of this. This is the hopeful part. You already have a built-in sanctuary. Your body is wired for calm through the parasympathetic nervous system, especially the vagus nerve, which is like the calming gear that brings you back into balance. I almost said the calming switch, but it isn't really like a switch. It's almost like we have to switch into a different gear so we can get that to start working for us and with us. It's always there, but we have to get into that gear and let things be calm. Let our mind and body begin to let go. So I'd like to invite you to a quick practice. I'd like you to try lengthening your exhale right now with me for twice as long as your inhale. You just count it out yourself, your inhale, and then try to have that exhale twice as long, however you are counting. So inhale gently and then exhale that little bit longer. You might notice that your shoulders drop or your jaw softens. That's your body showing you that calm is accessible in this very moment. And what did you have to do? You didn't have to take any time out. You didn't have to buy anything. You didn't have to go anywhere special or put on special sneakers. All you had to do was count what your inhale was and then double it for your exhale. Bonus points if you're doing both of those through your nose. We'll get to that on another episode, but I want you to just have a quick note about that. Use your nose if you can. It's what it's there for. So how can we make some practical shifts from actually reacting to life like we are on the fight or flight to actually responding to life and answering the call that life is giving to us, whether it be something urgent that we need to do or something more gentle, we can still respond. How do we move from being reactive to being more intentional? First off, you could have mindful pauses. You don't need to do a 30-minute practice. Even doing a 2-second pause before you answer an email, or before you start your car, or responding to your child's help. If you take a 2-second pause, you are beginning to retrain your nervous system. I love these mindful pauses, and I learned about them a very, very long time ago, probably 25 years ago from Eckhart Tolle. I remember him talking about taking that mindful pause, that 2 seconds, when you're putting the key in the door lock, when you're coming home, and just taking that 2-second pause to switch from your outer world, wherever you were, what you were doing, probably work, and then coming home. With just those 2 seconds, with a pause, you can begin to let your nervous system shift into its new environment. But we have to be mindful, and we really are retraining our nervous system when we do this. You could also set up boundaries with the digital noise, that static that is always going on around us, by maybe silencing your notifications after 8 o'clock at night. I turn my phone ringer off at 8 p.m. There's only certain numbers that can ring through. Or you could put your phone in another room at dinner. One of the hosts on the Minimalist podcast, I don't remember which one it is, might be Josh, he puts his phone on the charger when he comes in the door, and that's kind of like where the phone lives while he's at home. Kind of like the old days when we only had a phone that was in one room because it was connected to the wall or a short cord, and that's where the phone was. We don't need to have it in our back pocket all day and night. That could be a nice boundary. These small acts tell your brain we're safe. We can rest. It can begin to let go out of the fight or flight mode. Now, you may not feel like I'm not in the fight or flight mode. Well, you may not be 100%. Like I was talking about the gears. You don't have all parasympathetic or all sympathetic. It's kind of pushing one maybe it's more like a brake in the gas pedal. The car is still moving when you're pushing the brake, but you're engaging it to move slower. So we are not looking to be totally out of our fight or flight in just those simple practices, but we are engaging our parasympathetic nervous system so that we can have more of that and release the tension in our body. Selective engagement might be in order for you because not everything deserves your energy. You can choose what matters most instead of reacting to every demand that comes up. It's like every email that comes in does not even need to be read. You can tell by the subject line whether it's for you. You can tell who it's from, whether it's for you or not. Feel free to delete. Feel free to unsubscribe. Get selective about what you let in, even as mundane as your email. It makes a difference. It takes up a lot of our time and energy and can actually be quite triggering if there are things in there that you would rather not have your eyes feasting upon. So you choose what matters most instead of reacting to every demand. Even if that's people in your life, you can have boundaries and choose who you are going to interact with and who you are not going to interact with. And of course, you may have an irritable relative that you must interact with. I get it. Life is like that. But you get to choose the boundaries. And I want you to be smart about this. Get creative with it. If it's somebody that you have to interact with, get creative and see if you can't carve out less interaction or more interaction that is maybe through texting rather than phone calls, or you know where I'm going with this. You can get creative and take care of your time and energy. Be selective with how you engage. Now, what we're looking for eventually here is cultivating lasting tranquility. Once you start tasting these little bits of calm, even if it is the little calm that comes from taking that 2-second pause when you put the key in the door at home, you might feel that little bit of sweetness and that calm. And the goal is to be able to integrate those little bits into your lifestyle so that it becomes a lasting habit. And by habit, I mean you don't have to think about it anymore. It's just happening. You have trained your nervous system and you have trained your muscles and have the muscle memory to do these things over and over again. These things that feed you rather than take away from you. You could create a calm routine that works for you. And this could be as simple as 5 minutes of stretching in the morning, a walk after lunch, or journaling at night. I know you guys have a lot of ideas out there, and I would love to hear them. So put them in the comments or send an email to anxietycoachespodcast@gmail.com and let me know what you are developing for your calm routine. Let's share these ideas. Learn to befriend uncomfortable emotions will be another way to cultivate some lasting tranquility. Instead of fighting your feelings of worry or sadness, try saying something along these lines. This is what I'm feeling right now, and it's okay. Now, that kind of acceptance lowers the resistance. And when you are not resisting, you are not fighting, and your mind and body can begin to relax. You can begin to float. You could support your nervous system with the basics, meaning enough sleep, balanced meals that are right for you, and gentle movement. Things like walking or Tai Chi or Qigong or yoga. Simple, gentle movement. These habits can set the stage for emotional stability. And as you build more calm into your daily life, you're going to notice a ripple effect. This is what I call living a life beyond reactivity. Your relationships will soften because you're not so quick to snap or shut down. Some of us snap and get angry and aggressive, and some of us shut down, right? We all have our way of getting out of the situation. But we won't be so quick to do that when we are having less reactivity going on. When we are actually able to have more parasympathetic nervous system time in our days. Work becomes more manageable. You can meet the challenges with clarity instead of panic. Your prefrontal cortex will be alive and well with energy. And maybe most importantly, uncertainty stops feeling so terrifying. You can begin to face life with resilience and presence. Now, this isn't about becoming perfectly calm 100% of the time. You know I'm a pretty happy person, and I am not perfectly calm 100% of the time. I live a real life, and you can too, without having to ever go down the wormhole again. It's about knowing that you have access to calm whenever you need it. So today, I invite you to notice, where are you living in survival mode, and where might you create just a little more space for calm? Again, let me know in the comments or by email. Remember, it doesn't have to be big. It starts with tiny moments of presence, repeated again and again. I'm so grateful that we had this time together today. Anxiety can feel heavy, but when you meet it with a response versus a knee-jerk reaction, or compassion instead of criticism, you lighten your load. If you found this helpful, consider passing it along to a friend or leaving a review. It helps others find us and feel supported too. Until next time, may you be safe, may you be calm, and may you be free from fear. And now for today's quote. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. And that's from Viktor Frankl. I'll be back in a few more days with another podcast. Until then, be well and aloha.